investigation into singer David has intensified after the body of a teenager was discovered in a Tesla that has been linked to him.
So this Celeste and David case just went from dark to straight up horrific. The feds finally pieced together a timeline they say proves David was moving reckless with Celeste. But right when everybody thought the story was locked, his own brother Caleb stepped in and dropped a bombshell. He's saying the timeline the feds are bragging about might not even be legit. Alright, so here's where the feds laid their cards on the table. They pulled together a timeline of David and Celeste that looks straight up incriminating. Every detail feels like it's building a case that he couldn't escape. It starts back in late 2021, early 2022. David meets Celeste online through Fortnite. He's like 16 or 17, and she's only 11 or 12. Already, that age gap is raising red flags, and the feds aren't letting that slide. Then March 28, 2022, David drops a track called Decide, and get this. The lyrics mention, "Save your tears, 7 years." A lot of people say that's him basically pointing out Celeste's age, hinting he was waiting until she turned 18. Creepy as hell, right? Fast forward to September 7th, 2022, Celeste's birthday. David drops Romantic on the exact same day. Now we all know artists tie songs to moments in their lives, but the feds flag that as way too on the nose. By October, Discord chats start surfacing. David's out here asking, "Is Celeste in here?" And she replies. Then in 2023, things start to spiral. A Twitch stream shows David laughing with Celeste about controversial stuff before he panics and tells her to delete the VOD. That alone had investigators side-eyeing him hard. February 2024, Celeste's mom reports her missing for the first time. Around the same time, people are already calling David out in his comments, saying LAPD's gonna catch him for messing with a 13-year-old. That same month, new photos of them together surface. It's like every time she disappears, there's proof she's still around him. Spring 2024, Celeste goes missing again. She comes back for a bit, but then vanishes. By June, she's seen backstage with David. By August, Discord users are literally saying, "Drop the one with the missing girl, Celeste." Like, the internet was on to him before the cops even closed in. Now here's where it gets grim. September 2025. The body is found, dismembered, stuffed in the trunk of a Tesla. A Tesla registered to David. You can see why the feds lined this all up like a nail in the coffin. Then within days, the chain reaction starts. Police raid his manager's house. The label cuts ties. David starts wiping his Reddit and locking his Fortnite stats so nobody can see what he's doing. By this point, the timeline is looking airtight. Every road leads back to him. But here's the thing. The same timeline the feds are banking on is the one Caleb is now calling out. He's basically saying that these dates and all the receipts don't prove guilt. They prove somebody set his brother up. And that flips the whole case on its head. Right after the feds laid out that timeline, rumors started flying that David's own brother Caleb might actually be working with the cops. People are saying Caleb didn't just distance himself, he might be cooperating. Some threads on Reddit even straight up accused him of snitching, connecting his own music to Celeste and claiming he knew way more than he ever admitted. If true, Caleb wouldn't just be the brother dropping bombshells, he'd be the brother helping law enforcement piece the puzzle together. And in the hip-hop world, that word snitch hits different. Some fans are saying it's betrayal, others are calling it justice. But let's back it up. Here's what sparked all this. Reports started circulating that Caleb was cooperating with police, disturbed by the accusations surrounding David. Meanwhile, Reddit detectives dug into his lyrics, claiming some of Caleb's bars lined up with what went down between David and Celeste. Add to that a blurry photo supposedly showing Caleb backstage with Celeste at one of David's concerts, and suddenly, the internet's demanding answers. Did Caleb know? Did he stay silent? Or is this him trying to clean his name before things spiral further? For now, we can't really say. Nothing's been officially confirmed by the LAPD, and they haven't gone on record about Caleb cooperating. But the silence only makes the rumors louder. Some sources even reported he's been working closely with authorities, and people ran with it. Whether that's facts or just clout-chasing journalism, the damage is done. Caleb's name is in the mix now. But let's be real. If Caleb is cooperating, what's his angle? Is he just trying to separate himself from David before the feds start connecting dots to the whole camp? Remember, David's manager already had his house raided, and his label dropped him instantly. The people closest to him are already cutting ties. Caleb stepping in as the informant brother could either be his way of saving himself or his way of burying David for good. And this is where it gets even darker. If Caleb really is handing over info, then all those cryptic songs, the voicemails, even the tattoos, suddenly they might be more than just disturbing coincidences. They could be the very evidence that pushes David's case over the edge. But before we decide if Caleb's really snitching, we gotta talk about the wild rumors swirling online. The false leads, the viral posts, and the way misinformation has been muddying the waters since day one. The first one was the viral pregnancy rumor. A post on X racked up over 2.5 million views claiming Celeste was pregnant when she died and that infant remains were found near David's home. That claim alone sent shockwaves through the fan base. People were saying this wasn't just a tragic relationship gone wrong. It was something even darker. But here's the truth. That rumor's been debunked. No official reports, no forensic confirmation, nothing from law enforcement to back it up. Just pure misinformation that spread like wildfire because fans were desperate for answers. Then came the whole narrative about Celeste's aunt, and this one is messy. Screenshots show her posting shoutouts, flexing her new talent badge, and treating the tragedy like a content grind. Some people are calling it straight-up clout chasing. Others argue she's just coping in her own way. Either way, it had fans side-eyeing the family dynamics real heavy. And all this noise, false leads, family drama, viral posts, just makes it harder to separate fact from fiction. Because on one side, you've got federal investigators quietly building a homicide case. On the other, you've got internet detectives throwing out unverified theories, half of which turn out fake. It's a mess. But here's the thing. This chaos might not be random. When people flood the internet with rumors, the real evidence gets buried. And if someone wanted to cover tracks or distract from the truth, flooding timelines with lies would be the easiest way to do it. So the question is, are these false claims just fans reaching for answers? Or are they part of a bigger play to cloud the case? And that's where things get real disturbing. While the internet is busy chasing false leads, the creepiest evidence might have been hiding in plain sight this whole time, inside David's own music. What we're finding in his texts feels less like coincidence and more like confession. Now, if the timeline and Caleb's rumors weren't enough, the darkest clues might actually be sitting in plain sight, inside David's own music and interviews. Once you start to dissect every lyric, every hidden voicemail, every emotional breakdown on stage, and what they've found feels less like art and more like evidence. Let's start with David's background. His parents pulled him out of school, homeschooled him, and kept him under a strict religious, controlling household. He confirmed all these details during his interview with Dazed. Some go as far as saying that he was already showing sick thoughts as a teen, obsessed with blood, death, and violence, before video games and isolation only made it worse. Then, when he blew up online and the money started rolling in, his parents finally let him be free. That freedom, mixed with his obsession with Celeste, may have been the recipe for disaster. Because to many fans, Celeste wasn't just a girlfriend. She was the centerpiece of his twisted world. The theory? He killed her sometime between October and January, either before or right after finishing his last album. And when you look at the content of that album, the lyrics, and even his interviews, that theory starts to sound a lot less far-fetched. In one interview, David said, "That's what I feel for my art. It's beautiful for a time, so my music is only here for a temporary time. Withered is the process of going back to where I came from. I wanted the album to sound like a goodbye, a send-off to the next era, or whatever I'm doing next." He confirmed it during this one interview with Zach Sang.
This album is my life. Like, Withered is my life. Petals of Thorns and Lost Petals are what I wanted my life to be, and then Withered is my life.
Looking back now, fans are asking, was that a goodbye to his career or to Celeste herself? He'd also constantly bring up the invisible string theory and the Korean concept of jong, a deep emotional bond that's almost impossible to break, even when the relationship is toxic. David himself said the irony was that the person who taught him this begged, "Don't leave me." But in the end, she left anyway. And now that person is no longer in his life. You can't help but connect that to Celeste. Then comes the flower symbolism. His project Withered transitions into talks of a deluxe called Japanese Lily. In Japanese culture, the red spider lily represents death, mourning, and separation between life and death. It blooms as summer fades into fall, the moment of transition. Was this just a metaphor for artistic evolution or a chilling nod to Celeste's fate? And the smoking gun for a lot of people is that Celeste's actual voice is scattered across his music. In tracks like I Never Needed You and So Long, Goodbye, you hear her voicemails, crying, drunk, apologizing, saying she misses him. In the first track, she tells him, "You're always the one calling my phone. You have to figure out what's going on with you."
Why are you calling me?
You've been dead, you've been dead, you've been
Say you're sorry, this. And didn't want to go and change the narrative and say something completely different.
It paints a picture of a girl trying to pull away and a boy who refused to let go. The SoundCloud track Satan's Pursuit is even darker. Dropped in late 2023, he raps, "It kills me slowly day by day. I need to find somewhere to clean my thoughts, but I'm not happy at all. I let Satan pursue me. I still miss you the way it was before I threw my life away." Was he confessing in real time? And it's not just the recordings. His live performances got disturbing too. In April 2025, during the BandLab experience, David broke down sobbing in the middle of Afterlife, unable to finish the song. Then again in June, he performed it live and had another breakdown on stage. Fans can't decide if it was grief, guilt, or both, but it left everyone shaken. Add all this up, the birth date releases, the flower death imagery, the invisible string theory, Celeste's actual voice in his tracks, his breakdowns on stage. It paints a haunting portrait. To a lot of fans, it's not just coincidence. It's obsession immortalized in music. And that leads to the darkest theory yet, that David Celeste lived with it for months, then dumped her body in a Tesla, hoping it would get towed and destroyed before anyone found her. Some even say maybe he wanted to get caught, because why else would he scatter so many clues in his art? But there's another big question lurking. If David really was spiraling like this, did the people closest to him, like his management and his label, know more than they let on? And if they did, how deep does this cover-up go? Here's where the spotlight shifts. As much as people are pointing fingers at David, others are starting to wonder if his team, his management, his label, even the people around him, knew way more than they let on. Let's start with Josh Marshall, David's manager. The feds raided his house right after Celeste's body was identified. Now, why would the cops be looking at the manager unless they believed he was tied into the mess? And get this. Fans have been claiming that Josh and the label weren't clueless. He's already been accused of enabling David's predatory behavior, saying they had been warned about Celeste being a missing minor back in 2024. If that's true, then Josh can't play dumb. The girl wasn't just a fan. She was reported missing, showed up at his shows, backstage with his crew, all while still underage. Anyone in David's circle could take one look at Celeste and know she was too young. The fact that she had to use fake IDs, couldn't drive, and was still popping up in concert photos should have been a dead giveaway. So why didn't anyone step in? The theory is simple. They looked the other way because the money was rolling in. And it gets shadier. After the LAPD searched David's rented apartment, reports say Josh ended the lease immediately. Fans saw that as a cleanup move, trying to erase traces before cops could dig deeper. The label cut ties just as fast, almost like they knew the storm was coming. Here's where Caleb comes back into play. If his brother is snitching, or at least cooperating, then investigators might not just be circling David. They could be digging into everyone connected to him. Management, the label, even family. Caleb distancing himself or feeding info could be his way of dodging the fallout, while Josh and the label scramble to keep their names clear. At the end of the day, one thing is clear. David's not the only one under suspicion anymore. His whole team's being dragged into the mud, and the deeper the case goes, the more people believe this wasn't just one man spiraling. It was a whole system built to protect him until the truth got too big to hide.